Game. He's made it when he's been starting for the Celtics. He's made it as a sixth man. He's only started 10 games this year. In fact, even when Bird was hurt, they moved him into the starting lineup. Things weren't going so well. They said, look, let's just keep the rhythm the way it has been. And they put him back on the bench and brought him off after the game had begun.
Chris Ford wanted to get him back into the same rotation when they had been so successful. They knew Bird was eventually going to return, so they did a good move by Chris Ford. And McHale went along with the whole thing, which makes it easy.
Chambers cranks it up. It would have been a three-pointer. Pierce couldn't save it. And it remains West ball. Chambers was the MVP of the 1987 game. Played on what was then his home floor in Seattle. He was with the Supersonics then.
Actually, a last-minute replacement for Steve Johnson, who was injured.
Duckworth, you know, when you first look at him, you wouldn't think he'd have as soft a touch. He's more of a finesse player than his body would lead you to believe.
He's one of those centers that has the ability not only to perform down low, but step back and shoot the ball well facing up.
First minute of the second quarter.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the West really extends their defense and gets after the East right now, because Alvin Robertson is the point guard out there, which is not his most natural position. In fact, Del Harris has said all year that we're not real good when he's at the point spot.
Dominique misses the three. Magic is the only man to hit from beyond the arc in the game so far. Drexler with a nice dish to Duckworth, who hits it, but it won't count. They get him on the charge as McHale was brave enough to take it. Charles Barkley standing by with Ahmad Rashad. Go ahead, Ahmad.
Charles, now wait a minute. Now this game is starting off awful slow. At what point is it going to heat up?
Well, I think everybody right now is just a little nervous and a little hyper. I think when you first start out, everybody doesn't want to try to be a hot dog. Just want to go out and have fun. It takes a while to get going.
And then all of a sudden people forget about passing once it gets wrong.
Yeah, once they get into a fast break mode, we'll be fine. But we got to work on Dominique. He's not pumping them shoes hard enough.
All right, man. Bob?
All right, Ahmad. Ricky Pierce made the last basket for the East. Chambers missed the reverse on the offensive end for the West. Dominique's pass deflected. Pierce has it, though. Into Robertson for the layup. Pierce got the assist that time. But check his scoring average. Almost 23 a game, which is 12th in the league. Worthy through a crowd, draws the foul. Ricky Pierce is the only man in the top 20 in NBA scoring who is not a starter. He's averaging 23 points a game in about 29 minutes.
Well, the interesting thing is that he has the ability, obviously, to score points almost at the rate of a point a minute, but here he drops off to his teammate. They're so familiar playing with one another.
If you went to a 48-minute projection, and obviously there are different sorts of players, and this wouldn't necessarily hold up, but just out of curiosity, Michael Jordan, the league's scoring leader, and he's been that the last 4 seasons, would hit for about 40 points in 48 minutes. Ricky Pierce, 37.5.
Yeah, not far behind. You know, most any other teams he would be a starter, but he knows his role with Milwaukee as Neek knocks out a jumper facing up, and he does it so well for them. Bring him off the bench, but he knows he's getting his minutes every night.
Porter for three. Chambers with the rebound, and Doherty fouled him from behind. Dominique, after that last basket, is just 2 of 8 from the floor. But you got to believe this kind of showcase, he'll heat up eventually. We'll step aside for a minute.
Some basketball in your time, huh?
I certainly did, and it's a wonderful game. I love to play it in my spare time, but now it's time to sit back and watch it.
All right, as you're watching, let me put a little pressure on you. Who is your vote for MVP in this game? Woo!
Well, that's a hard question because all of them are MVPs in their own right, but the hometown favorite would definitely be Michael.
All right, man. Well, enjoy yourself. Good to have you here.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Bob.
I guess Michael is the hometown favorite, especially in the absence of any Hornet players. No Charlotte player has ever made an All-Star team. In fact, no member of the Heat, the Magic, or the Timberwolves has been an All-Star either in these early stages of those franchises' existence. The All-Star game is on the expansion circuit. Miami last year, Charlotte this year, Orlando for sure in '92, and although it hasn't been officially announced, it's likely that Minneapolis will get it the next year. Drexler got free as Pierce went for the steal and left him alone on the baseline.
I'm sure there are still some cities, franchises that would like to see the old rule with his representation from every team in the league during the All-Star game.
Dumars is back in. Chambers gets the steal. East by 1. Chambers from Porter with a full head of steam, but McHale is there to collect the miss. Dominique. Dumars knocks it down. Dominique's assist total, his field goal percentage, his rebounds have all gone up this year. His scoring average has stayed flat, right around 26, which it is for his career. But in every other facet of the game, he's taken a step up this year.
He certainly has, and he credits that to Bobby Weiss with partly the new system that he brought in, as well as his teammates letting him do a little bit more and accepting him for what he is.
You mentioned the old rule where every team had to be represented. The last year that was in effect was 1973. Of course, then the rosters were 14, now they're 12, and there were only 17 teams then instead of 27. But you had a situation where John Block, the forward from the 76ers, made the team because each club had to be represented, and the 76ers were 9-73 that year. After that, they decided, look, we'll just take the best players.
Well, maybe you're telling me that John Block had a heavy load to carry that year. You can't blame John Block.
Yeah, maybe he was a truly great player surrounded by truly putrid players. Dumars has it go off Pierce's fingertips. Terry Porter pounds it back all the way with a gorgeous move. We're tied at 32. Just inside 9 minutes to play. Here's a steal by Worthy.
And the West defense is up. They're aggressive. They're overplaying. They know that they are physically, maybe size-wise, strength-wise overmatched, but they're going to make up for it at the defensive end.
Crowd reacts to Worthy, member of Dean Smith's 1982 NCAA champions and 3 titleists with the Lakers. Another North Carolina product. Doherty picks this one up. Wilkins can't hit it, but he's coming to the foul line.
Anticipation of the defensive end. All right, the defensive player stepping up, forcing the action, leading the break. Porter finishing off with the little scoop move, right-hand layup.
And Porter picked up the foul on Wilkins' drive. Dominique can tie it if he hits them both, which he won't. The crowd isn't in it yet. Michael Jordan hasn't done anything special. No one has truly brought the crowd to its feet. Maybe Magic Johnson will. He's with Steve Jones. Go ahead, Steve.
Magic, the crowd is kind of quiet. What are you guys going to do to get them in the ball game?
You got to pick the pace up on both sides, and you know, it's got to be moving fast. That's where we miss Isaiah, and because he liked to push it, I would push it back. It would be a fast-moving game, and so we got to get the tempo up.
Well, then I guess you better call Isaiah.
I better call him, get him out that cast, and come on out here and join us. Hey, come here right now.
Hey, doesn't Bob owe you a Pepsi?
That's right. He know it. See, the longer it goes, it turns into a case. You know, 2 cases. And I'm going to make him buy it in D.C. where I can get the money from it.
All right, back to you, Bob.
And you know he needs that cash.
Yeah, he's really, because he's a little short-handed right now in the pocket.
Yeah.
You know, he did mention, though, about Isaiah missing, and true to form, Pat Riley mentioned that every season that Pat did coach in 8 of these All-Star games, it seemed like Magic and Isaiah set the tone for the crowd by pushing it back and forth, and the East is missing that point guard that has the quickness to make that happen.
New backcourt for the West as Dumars unleashes a 3. Doherty got the rebound, keeps it alive to Wilkins against 3 defenders, puts it down.
Neek perhaps making the toughest shot over the top of the shot blocker is Hardaway, the guy who supposedly couldn't shoot coming out of college, knocks out a 3.
He played for Don Haskins at Texas El Paso, where he was mostly a take-it-to-the-hole guy. Really has improved his outside shooting. That's his first basket, a 3-pointer. Gives the West a 4-point lead. That one's going to count for Ricky Pierce, plus the foul. There are 3 guards on the floor now for the West. Adelman has Porter, Stockton, and Hardaway out there, along with Malone and Robinson.
Ricky Pierce so strong down low. He just basically overpowers many of his opponents during the course of the season. That's why Del Harris sends him down and posts him up a lot.
Completes the 3-point play. On the insiders portion of the pregame show, Peter Vesey said that Ricky Pierce could be traded any day. He's unhappy with his contract situation, and the Bucks at least are talking about it. Stockton can't hit off the screen.
And this has been something that has been going on now since the end of last season, to talk about Pierce possibly going during the offseason. Then once the season started, he got off to such a great start. It was like, well, we can't send him now, but right before the trade deadline, something could happen with Ricky Pierce. The contract has been a big problem for everyone.
Loose ball foul was on David Robinson, his first.
See, the mismatch is Pierce too big, too strong for Hardaway to guard.
Tries to take advantage of it, but can't this time. Doherty fouled by Robinson. So David picks up a couple of quick ones. And we go quickly to Steve Jones. Snapper.
All right, Bob Costas, Dr. J is here. He's actually trying to hide. You were a judge last night. Now you've grown that beard. What is it, huh? You guys were tough last night.
Yeah, we were tough. But, you know, the dunk competition is something that people should